everyone. I hope that this video finds you all well. I'm trying. There you go. Cover you up. You never know where I'm at, do ya? Well, I am on a road trip. And my YouTube prompted me back to some of the classic LBLs. About 3 years ago, and then there was a 2-year ago. And I mean, they're just classic because, like, they're so ridiculous that they are humorous. Like, what kind of a 50-year-old blobs and blabs and oh, my mom is gone because mommy left, because she finally got in a fight and Carol finally packed her bags and got the hell away from her. Who does this? Like, who blubbers and balls like that? It's just, I mean, every once in a while, you just have to, like, go back and look at classic LBL to just laugh. And then, like, especially if you can go into one of the LBLs where she starts it with, no advice. Because she hates advice worse than anything. And, like, the problem is that people give advice because she's asking them for something. If she wasn't asking for help, they wouldn't offer advice. She doesn't give them the whole story. And what she does is she says, there are details that I'm not going to give you. In the classic ones where she was acting like she was going to be thrown on the street and homeless, never was going to happen. She's been on SSI for decades. And her money manager is Carol. They had the freaking SSI going to Carol. Well, Carol would write the checks out for rent and the necessities and give her an allowance. So all of that, all of those scams of, I'm going to be homeless, it's all bull. All of that crap about, oh, she's upper middle class. Everything was given to her. She's lived a life in the upper half, not ever having to mingle with the common folks, is all fake. Fake. Okay? She's a fraud. This is a person who lives off the government that wants to walk around like she's freaking Cruella de Vil. I mean, it's humorous in some ways. But then we see that it's not humorous because of the way that she bullies people. And I mean, I've been asked, like, why would I waste my time? Why do I care about her? Why do I care? Because I care about the people that she's screwing over. Because she is mean. She's so mean. She's so mean to animals. She's so mean to people who are just trying to be nice. I mean, look at what she did the other night. She put up this picture of this guy because he messaged her. Did you see what he did? He messaged her and he said, hi. So she tore him up one side and down the other. Like, why? Why? Why would you do that? Well, maybe because you're a very angry and unhappy person, but she claims the opposite. Oh no, she claims she's happy and she's madly in love with herself. If she could mate herself, she would. And it's just bizarre because, like, she preys on people to fall in love with her animals that she gets. And the people who then bond with the animals and think that they're part of her world don't know that She kills the animals from neglect and from abuse and from manhandling them. And I mean, I just can't even. I mean, this new puppy, scared shitless of her, obviously wants to live its life now underneath the freaking couch. Okay? And she goes with her big lobster cracking hands and grabs a poor freaking puppy and then wants to sit there and be like having this show of, now it's the Lori and Friday show, because it used to be the Lori and Bella show. Bella, rest in peace. And it used to be the Lori and Pom Pom show. And then it was the Lori and Fringe show. Then it was Lori and Fringe 2 show. And then the Lori and her special girl lizard, Lizzie. Because she felt with her essence that Lizzie was a girl. Except for when she plopped it up and those big old balls fell out. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, I guess, and that's one of the things, is like, how did she figure that her essence could tell that she could tell that Lizzie was a woman, but it had balls? Does that, I mean, just because she has balls doesn't mean that everything that has balls is female. So long ago and far away, there was this show, and it was like Sherry, and she had this little lamb. I can't remember what Sherry's name was, but she had this children's show, and she was so sweet. And I do believe that she died of cancer, but she had her little stuffed animal lamb, and she would talk with the kids, and that's what it looks like she's trying to do with this poor little dog, because she likes to baby talk it, just like she did with all of her other animals that have now gone by the wayside. Rest in peace. Her apartment's a pet cemetery. Anyway, she holds up this poor little dog. Hi, I'm Friday. I've been here for about 2 weeks now. Look at my little body. And then she'll flick its dick. I mean, it's just gross. Like, who handles their pet like that? It's just bizarre. And like I say, on my road trip here, how it like took me back to the 3-year Lori, 3 years ago Lori, where she was like heading down to San Diego, happy as a clam, and then she stopped her medication because she doesn't want SSI and Medicare and everything else that she has to know that she is not in Massachusetts. She still has it all in her mommy's name, all of her benefits in her mommy's name. So she came out to California and she stopped her medication. The medication that made that nice kind of sweet Lori Beth, it was just kind of that big fat woman that was just nice. You know, she'd walk outside and the construction workers just couldn't keep their eyes off her because she's blonde with a big ass. You know that, Lori? Yeah, well, that one. So when she came out to the West Coast, she stopped her medication. And she has her medication because she's batshit crazy. And so she went off her medication that she'd been on for a number of years. Went off her medication, and little Carol couldn't handle it. Little Carol couldn't handle big Lori without medication. Nobody should. I mean, if you were a zookeeper with a tranquilizer gun, then maybe you could handle a Lori Beth without medication, but nobody should. Especially not little Carol. So, little Carol just said screw it and left in the middle of the night and left Lori with 2 apartments. And she acted like it was this big crisis, but Carol had everything all covered. Carol wouldn't have left Lori Beth without her SSDI that they were concealing. The reason why they were concealing it is because Lori always managed to have some kind of a job when she was supposed to be responsible for taking care of Burke. She always wanted to have some kind of a job. That way the state would pay for Burke to go to daycare. And as we know, Burke had problems because he's kind of feral, because he was raised by her. He wasn't nurtured properly. I think that if he stays away from her, he's got a chance at life of being normal. But he has to stay away from her. She is the well that poisoned him. So, she always had a job, but then she'd have to go out drinking after the job. She had the YMCA care for Burke, so she didn't have to. So basically, she'd get Burke right about the time it was time for bedtime, so then she could take her Xanax and her Ambien and drug herself, so she didn't ever have to be a parent. She might have been there sometimes physically, but not mentally ever. So, Burke had an accident at the YMCA, hurt his wrist, and she got a settlement out of that. Well, she didn't want that settlement to mess up her SSI, so she had Carol conceal that money. So when she goes through all this crap about Carol being her money manager, that's all this is. It's just because there was a YMCA settlement that she didn't want to mess up her SSI because all that. So, I mean, if you look at this, these two snobs are acting like they're so much better than everybody. Anytime they walk in a department store, they want to act like, you know, they are just royalty. And the lowly store clerks need to come after them and offer them their wares because they don't even want to have to walk up to them. When in truth, she's a freaking welfare queen. A welfare queen. LBL is a welfare queen. Okay? So, she wants to act like, she said in one of these videos, I was laughing because she said, oh, I'm not used to this kind of a life. Everything has been handed to me. I'm going to have a sale to get rid of all of my beautiful items because I have to sell it. Otherwise, I'll be homeless. It's all friggin' lies. Yeah, you were handed stuff from the government. From the government, you welfare queen. Like, who does she think she is, acting like she's so much better than everybody else? And that she can just talk to people and talk to animals like that. Who does she think she is? That some man can say hi to her on a personal ad and just say that word hi. And she wants to go and brag about how she eviscerated him for saying hi to her. Why? Why? Why does she do that to people? I just feel sorry for the people who see her and think that she's just a kind, misguided soul who needs some help. So they say kind things to her. She'll snap at them. I just feel sorry for them. She hurt me. She hurt many people I know. Just because of that bitter, haggard, crisp, mean way that she talks. It's abrasive. And I was watching this one. She was blubbering because she didn't even get the job at Sephora. Well, what kind of a mirror does she have? Does she think she looks like one of them little hot numbers that works at Sephora? Because the little numbers that work at Sephora are basically hot little numbers. I'm just gonna say that because that's all they are. Hot little numbers that when you walk by, you're like, oh, I want my makeup done by them because I want to look like that. Like, how can she see herself as somebody that would work at Sephora? I mean, what? Is it a cataract? Does she have cataracts on her eyes and it makes her look like, does she look in the mirror? And does she see that? Does she see that she's a hot little number? I mean, then how does she explain when she blows out her knees and her ankles and joints and everything, like with the big, huge upper body? She's built like SpongeBob with little legs, and she toddles around, walks like she just learned to walk that day, and she thinks that she's Sephora material. It's just bizarre. It's just completely bizarre, and her life is a lie. As somebody once said, the Truth and Lori Beth have never met. The Truth and Lori Beth Langer are strangers. And it would just be funny to watch somebody go to her with the truth and just watch her melt. Like, just sit there and like look at her and emit truth at her. Like, what would happen if you just confronted her with the truth? What would she do? Would she melt? Would she scream? Would she grab the white crying towel and blubber? What would she do? I don't know. But I'll tell you what. I don't think anybody's actually giving her sponsor links. I think she's trying to be like her idol, LLD1. Because when people give you sponsors, they want you to advertise, so you get a little kickback too, so you get a vendor link. So, I don't know. When she was gorging herself with those premium jeans, those don't work like that. Especially, you are not supposed to take CBD gummies if you take Xanax. And somehow she's got her big lobster cracking hands back on some Xanax and Ambien. And she overdosed on Ambien before, so it should be in her medical chart that she cannot have Ambien. So I don't think she's getting it legally. Once again, the son visits and the mother has new medication. Isn't that funny how that is? I don't think that the son could handle the beast without medication, without medicating her. I think that there's something so wrong with her. And I don't know what it would take to make her ever be honest. But I don't think that she's really getting vendor links and sponsored. I don't see it. When she put her grubby ass face up and was trying to say that this premium Jane cleanser, whatever, I don't know. She was like trying to show, she pulled up her elbows, and they're so filthy. They're so dirty, like old elephant skin. And she's like, oh yes, this premium Jane skin, I just put it on my elbows. And okay, I'm not ever going to use premium Jane if that's what my friggin' elbows would look like. Would my elbows turn into that if I did it? And then she's gobbling CBD gummies. CBD gummies are like supposed to be taken like melatonin, where less is more. And she's eating them like a friggin' meal, like eating them. Something's wrong with her. Something's very wrong with her. And I was kind of grossed out to see that same gray nightgown was in her live 2 years ago. I don't think it's been washed since. She was saying how she doesn't have detergent. She doesn't use detergent. She uses hand soap for detergent. Just like this malarkey where she does the, oh, you use lipstick for eyeshadow. Why in the Sam hell would you do that? Because the point of eyeshadow, especially as you age, is to give yourself a more matte finish, because as we get older, we have like oily eyelids. That's why we put on like a primer. So if you put on lipstick, which is based to be more moisturizing, if you put lipstick on your eyelids, I don't know. I don't understand how she thinks she's a makeup guru. She does her makeup like freaking bozo. Like, who's going to be like, I want to do my makeup like LBL. Why doesn't LBL collab and make a palette? Huh? And with her nails like that, how the frick does she wipe? Number one, she got these big man hands with the short little arms and a huge body. And we all know the biggest frickin' tuchus in the world. That thing is humongous. When she bent over to beat the shit out of Bella that last time, that butt was huge. Like, huge. Like, people would like hide from suicide bombs under that ass. It's so big. And she bends over, beat the shit out of the little dogs, and then cranks back up. Yeah, no wonder your back hurts, bitch. No wonder. No wonder. How are you that big? So I don't even see how the little arms and the big hands can even wipe that huge ass, because how do you get around it? And then you have those claws. The claws that then you have like friggin' textures on. How does she wipe? Okay? How does she wipe? How does she wipe? Just think about that. And then when she said that, you know, Carol asked the doctor if that fuzzy stuff on the shelf, because she's got the shelf of an ass, like you could put some plants on it, and it's hairy. Well, I guess Carol said to the doctor, is she going to lose that hair on the upper shelf of her ass? And they didn't have an answer. So I don't know if the answer is that she can wipe and then she can dry it on that big hairy shelf of an ass, the shelf area of her upper ass. I don't know. But this bull crap the other day, because she had to turn off comments, so she's craving attention. So of course she had to go to the emergency room, but nobody goes to the freaking hospital right now because of COVID. They don't want you in the hospital right now because they don't want you to get COVID. They don't want to get COVID from you. So unless you're actually dying, they don't want you in the ER. So her bull crap about, oh yes, I know that I just spontaneously burst a tendon and twisted it, and I'll have to go in and have MRIs and all this. So in other words, you turned off the comments, so you're craving attention, so you had to go pull one of your ER things. You had to go pull your crap. You went to the ER, tried to get narcotics. They told you to fuck off and you're home. Oh, but they gave her some doctors to follow up on. Oh, she's relieved because it wasn't burst and everything. Acting like people freaking cared. They don't, and they didn't. So I don't know. I guess when you're as big as her, I guess if you step down, you could like totally spontaneously burst or rupture a tendon. Yes. Which is what I don't understand, because she had gut stapling surgery and now she's eating 3 times more than any bovine would. So how she bust out of the gut stapling? Like, I don't know. I mean, obviously she's on medical coupons and the state paid for her gut stapling. So if she was a private payer, then she could go and get her money back for the gut stapling because it obviously was temporary. Since Uncle Sam did it, then maybe Uncle Sam could go, hey, what is going on? Or maybe she got the Uncle Sam job. I don't know. But she is eating like no one's business and calling it a mukbang. And it isn't a mukbang, it's a buffet. In her one bowl, her trough. And then she puts that food in between her teeth and the upper cutting lips and just go, try to chew like her and not make that noise. I dare you. And then she got as if that thing with all the skin flakes and everything else that she puts her butt ugly jewelry that she crafts and inflicts upon others isn't filthy enough. She has a spittoon who in the year 2021 has a freaking spittoon and technically a female because it gave birth. I don't know. I don't know because no one saw a bird crawl out of anybody's vagina, so I don't know. I've always kind of thought of her as maybe a hermaphrodite. I think that would kind of be it. But nonetheless, it's an interesting creature that lies nonstop. And I hate liars. I don't like to hate anybody, but she's just so darn mean. It's like, I guess it's more of a disgust. And the manipulations, it's just so much. So she has a spittoon so she can go and chew big, huge balls of bubble gum and spit to the side. Have you ever heard of anything so disgusting in your life? I just can't. And then you know damn well in her ambient stupor she drinks it. Because in those ambient stupors she confesses to everything, and that's why you get the dirty delete videos. So when you see LBL in the ambient stupor, you better just stop everything and watch it live because it's not going to come back on. Unless our darling Jules across the pond gets it on BitChute. Because there are some good ones she gets, because that's when she starts pulling down the pants. Now, we've never seen the front butt. We've seen side and back areas, but never the front butt. So we don't know if she has a forward-facing thingamagoo or not. Anywho, the spittoon gives me the freaking creeps. Who, with, oh, I got this, I have a rotting tooth. I have to get to the dentist. Oh, I need money and I can't go to the dentist like other people. She's got freaking medical coupons. She could go to the freaking dentist for free and get her freaking tooth fixed. But if somebody really had all that tooth pain, would they be able to put some freaking sugary ass bubble gum in there and chew it all up so then they have to have a freaking spittoon? No, they wouldn't. So on that note, I will end.